Imagine for a moment that everything you think, feel, and do in your conscious life is just the tip of a gigantic iceberg. What lies beneath that surface? What hidden forces govern your deepest fears, your strangest dreams, your most inexplicable impulses? Today, you are going to discover the secret battle that defines your mind, the epic clash between two giants of psychology who forever changed our understanding of what it means to be human. In the next few seconds, you will not only learn about Freud and Jung, but you will look inside yourself in a way you never have before. Because this is not just history. It is the map of your own psyche. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, introduced us to the dark and personal realm of the unconscious. For Freud, your mind is a battlefield where your most primitive desires, your childhood traumas, your repressed memories fight to come to light. Think of that time you accidentally called your new partner by your ex's name, or that recurring dream where you lose your teeth or fly out of control. Freud would say that is your personal unconscious speaking, a repository of everything you have experienced, but buried because it is too painful or unacceptable for your consciousness. It is like a private basement full of forgotten boxes, each with an experience that marked you. Your mind, according to Freud, is deeply individual, shaped by your unique history, by your intimate conflicts. Even your slips of the tongue, those verbal slips, are windows into that psychological underworld. Why do you always forget that person's name? Why that irrational fear of elevators? Freud would attribute it to something you lived through and repressed. His method was free association, bringing those contents to light so that by making them conscious, they lose their neurotic power. But what if I told you there is something more? Something much vaster and older. This is where Carl Gustav Jung comes in, the rebellious disciple who dared to challenge his master. Jung listened to Freud, but felt the story was incomplete. For Jung, beneath that personal basement, there is a solid bedrock we all share, the collective unconscious. It is not formed by your experiences, but by the experiences of all humanity over millennia. It is as if, at birth, your mind connected to a universal library of symbols, myths, and archetypes. Have you ever felt an instinctive fear of darkness or snakes, even though you have never had a bad experience with them? Have you noticed that in completely different cultures, isolated from each other, similar stories of heroes, gods, or monsters emerge? The hero facing the dragon, the Earth Mother, the wise old man. Jung would say these are archetypes, innate patterns that reside in the collective unconscious of all of us. Your mind does not start blank. It comes with pre-installed software, inherited from your ancestors. This explains why a child, without anyone teaching them, can fear the unknown or imagine monsters under the bed. They are echoes of a shared evolutionary past. Here is the great divergence, the breaking point that separated these two titans. For Freud, the unconscious is a private theater of personal dramas. For Jung, it is a cosmic field that connects all humanity. Freud saw libido primarily as sexual energy. Jung saw it as a broader creative life force. Freud focused on the individual past, on cure through bringing out repressed traumas. Jung looked forward, toward individuation, the process of becoming who you are destined to be, integrating both your conscious and your personal and collective unconscious. For Jung, we not only repress traumas, we also repress parts of ourselves that society does not accept, such as our aggressiveness or our spirituality, what he called the shadow. Integrating the shadow is key to being whole. Moreover, Jung spoke of the anima and animus archetypes, the internalized images of the feminine and masculine that we all carry within, and which we project onto our relationships. Have you ever wondered why you are attracted to a specific type of person? Jung would say you are seeking to complement your own psyche with those archetypal qualities. Think of a dream. For Freud, a dream about a horse might be related to a repressed sexual desire or a childhood conflict. For Jung, that horse could be a symbol of the animal archetype, representing your purest instinct, your natural life force. A message from the collective unconscious, urging you to reconnect with your essence. It is an abysmal difference. One reduces symbolism to personal biography. The other expands it to the spiritual heritage of the species. Jung even introduced the concept of synchronicity, meaningful events that have no physical cause but are connected by their meaning, like thinking of someone and that person calling you instantly. For Jung, this showed the deep interconnection between the psyche and the world, governed by archetypes. While Freud stayed within a materialist model, Jung ventured into territories bordering on the spiritual. And this brings us to the controversial element, the idea that still divides waters today. Is our mind mainly a product of our personal history, or are we, at heart, channels of a universal psyche? Are we just the result of our traumas and desires, or do we carry within us the wisdom and fears of all humanity? Some criticize Freud for being too reductionist, for sexualizing everything, for basing his theories on a limited sample of patients. Others accuse Jung of being mystical, of scientific vagueness, of mixing psychology with occultism. But their legacy is undeniable. Advertising uses Jungian archetypes to sell you products by appealing to those ancestral symbols. Superhero movies are modern myths that resonate with our collective unconscious. Your attraction to certain stories, your immediate connection to some symbols, all of this could be the echo of that deep layer of your psyche. Even in therapy, Jung's ideas about psychological types gave rise to tests like the MBTI, used in companies worldwide. Surrealist art, with its dreamlike images, draws from Freud, while the great epics of literature and cinema owe their power to Jungian archetypes. Reflect for a moment. When you feel a powerful emotion watching a sunset, is it just because of its beauty, or because the setting sun touches an archetype of end and rebirth within you? When you identify with the hero's journey in a movie, is it just entertainment, or are you touching a deep psychological truth that Jung described? This is not just an academic theory. It is a lens to understand your life, your relationships, your creativity, your struggles. Have you ever had a numinous experience? A moment of awe that made you feel connected to something greater? Jung would say it is the collective unconscious touching your soul. Freud would interpret it as a return to the feeling of infantile omnipotence. What is your truth? The battle between Freud and Jung is not just a historical dispute. It is an eternal dialogue inside your own head. Your personal unconscious whispers your secrets, your wounds. Your collective unconscious sings you the songs of humanity. Ignoring one leaves you lame. Integrating them is the path to wholeness. Freud invites you to dig into your past to free yourself. Jung invites you to expand into a symbolic future where you are part of a whole. Who is right? Perhaps both. Perhaps the truth lies in the tension between the personal and the universal. In a world that sometimes makes us feel isolated, the idea of a collective unconscious reminds us that, at the deepest level, we are all united by the same symbols, the same fears, the same aspirations. Now, it's your turn. Which side are you on? Do you believe your mind is a private universe, or is it connected to something greater? The discussion is open. Leave your comment with your opinion. Freud or Jung? Personal unconscious or collective unconscious? Like this video if it made you rethink what you thought you knew about your own psyche. And subscribe, because every week we explore more mysteries of the human mind, unraveling the secrets that make you who you are. Don't stay on the surface. Dive into the depths with us. Your dreams, your fears, your passions have an origin, and today you have seen the light that illuminates it. The adventure has just begun.